I am Dr. Farshad Amini Behbahani, and this is advanced course of Iranian traditional medicine. In this section, we discuss about signs and symptoms of yellow bile. Yellow bile or choleric humor is the warmest humor. It normally is produced in the liver, but abnormally, or its abnormal form can be produced in every organs. Living in warm area, having exercise in warm air or warm time of the day, I mean at noon, especially in the warm season or at autumn, at the noon of autumn. And sleeplessness, having recurrent starving, having recurrent fasting, or consuming too little food, or consuming those food that are proper to production more yellow bile, I mean hot taste food, fatty food, and sweet food, especially those sweetness that burn the throat. In the young age, I mean in the warm and dry age, or in the warm and dry intrinsic temperament, or having warm jobs, for example in bakery, or those jobs that need too much movement in warm area or in warm air. These are factors that cause more production of the yellow bile or production of abnormal yellow bile, especially by consuming warm temperamental food or warm temperamental medications. The main work of the yellow bile is to penetrate the other three humors through the vessels. Somehow it is considered as a vasodilator, so it can mimic the vasodilator effects. It can cause dilation of narrow vessels. For example, in the sclera, by examination you can see redness of sclera in the cases of yellow bile dominancy. It can cause flushing, and it causes warmness of the skin. Actually, the temperament of the yellow bile is warm and dry, so most of the signs and symptoms of yellow bile dominancy or abnormal yellow bile are similar to signs and symptoms of warm and dry distemperament. Yellow bile is responsible for nourishment of the organs besides the other humors, especially those organs that need more yellow bile in their food, I mean the lungs and the gallbladder. Lungs for their movement need yellow bile. If yellow bile be depleted, the expansion of lung will be weak. Lungs cannot pass the disease to the other organs, so become weak. That's the mechanism that Chinese believe in lung disease. They believe that hot taste food estrange the lung and help lung to transfer its disease to the next organ, that is kidney, or pass to the opposite organ, that means the liver, or don't accept disease from the mother organ, that means the spleen. It's another story, but the mechanism that hot taste cause helping the lung is turning to yellow bile as a part of foods of the lung. Yellow bile has two kinds of color, I mean normal yellow bile. Bright red in the blood, in the circulating blood, and yellow in the gallbladder, yellow to green, slightly green. Those part that is in gallbladder is responsible for washing the sticky mucus or sticky phlegm from the walls of the gut, of the intestine and colon. So it can prevent from obstruction. In depletion of yellow bile, we have obstruction of the bowels. And yellow bile, because of its temperament, help to movement of the bowels. It aware us for defecation. So in depletion of yellow bile, we have absence of sense of defecation. It can cause a kind of constipation with soft stool. Of course, yellow bile also in the bladder wash the mucus and cause awareness of urination. In depletion of yellow bile also we have a full bladder without sense of defecation. The defecation, the urination is because of fullness of the bladder and don't aware the patient. Contrary, if yellow bile become more than need in the bowels, it can cause ulcers because washing of protective layer of the bowels. It can cause of ulcers, it can cause of pain, and it can cause of diarrhea or dysentery. Yellow bile also can, by refluxing through the stomach, can cause a stomach ulcer. Especially this side effects is seen in warmest kind of abnormal yellow bile. I mean the dark green yellow bile or copper oxide like yellow bile. A blue-green color that is very similar to copper oxide. These two kinds of yellow bile usually is produced in a very warm distemperamental stomach or by consuming very warm medication or food when the stomach temperament is warm. We can see it through vomiting or through diarrhea, especially when we see a watery dark green diarrhea with some peeling and skin in the matters. It's an alert sign for ulcer. You should cool the patient, cool the digestive system, even with enema of decoction of malva or any viscose or mucosal medication to help protect the skin, protect the layers of the bowel, and to cool the temperature, the temperament of the stomach. Reflux the yellow bile to the stomach can cause loss of appetite because it is, or it acts opposite to black bile. Black bile has an astringent effect on the cardia and cause appetite, and black bile contrary lose the walls of the stomach and cause the loss of appetite. And of course black bile by coming up can cause bitter taste in the mouth, can cause dryness of the mouth, can cause coarseness of the tongue, and sometimes coating on the tongue. By examination of this coating, you can find which kind of normal or abnormal yellow bile is in the digestive system. For example, when you see some yolk egg-like coating, some color between white and yellow, you will suspect two kind of yellow bile that is called in Iranian traditional medicine yolk yellow bile, that needs both medication for phlegm and yellow bile. Yellow bile by coming up and by its vapor can cause headache and can cause heaviness in the head, usually in anterior part of the head. Yellow bile in the skin can cause feeling of the needles, I explained it before, and can cause icter, can cause yellowish color of the sclera and the skin, especially when we have obstruction in the choleric channels in the liver or in the gallbladder. It can cause pain also in right upper quadrant. You know it. And yellow bile can cause more need for cooling, can cause rapid respiration, as it can cause rapid pulse, a pulse in a small size and rapid, that is characteristic for yellow bile dominancy. Reversely, depletion of yellow bile can cause distress and problem in expansion of the lung or expansion of trachea. Yellow bile can cause by its yellow vapors and mixing by psychic spirit during the dreaming to yellow all of the object in a normal dreaming. The patient recurrently see the yellow object, see wearing, for example, a yellow shirt, or seeing a yellow paper. She or he is seeing hot objects like sun, like fire, seeing swimming in the warm water or taking a warm bath are the dream signs of dominancy of the yellow bile. For treatment of the yellow bile, at first we should notice two causes of more production of yellow bile. By elimination of them, we can help the patient. I told it at the beginning of this section.